Preferably someone who's self-employed, who can take time out of their day.
I don't know anyone like that.
Virgin River Season 7 has reportedly wrapped up filming, and that's got fans buzzing with excitement, but also a bit of impatience. The wait for the next batch of episodes feels longer than ever, especially after the emotional roller coaster that Season 6 delivered. It left Mel, Jack, and pretty much everyone in that little Northern California town with a bunch of new challenges. So while the cameras stop rolling and the editing begins, fans are searching for something to fill the Virgin River-shaped hole in their hearts. Luckily, Netflix has another show that's scratching that same small-town romance meets drama itch, and it's got plenty of heart to keep you entertained while waiting for Mel and Jack to return. Before Season 6 even hit Netflix, Virgin River had already been renewed for a 7th season, and not long after, Season 8 was confirmed, proving that the streaming giant isn't ready to say goodbye to this quiet, drama-filled town anytime soon. Considering there are 22 novels in Robyn Carr's original book series, Netflix still has plenty of stories to pull from. The show's writers have a ton of material to work with, so it's safe to say Virgin River has room to grow even beyond its current renewal. But while the next chapter of Mel and Jack's story is still a few months away, there's a trending Netflix series that carries the same charm, tenderness, and slow-burn emotion that fans of Virgin River love so much. It's called 1,000 Tomorrows, and it's quickly becoming the go-to romantic western on Netflix right now. Originally, the show premiered 2 years ago on PureFlix, a faith-based streaming service, but it didn't get much mainstream attention back then. Fast forward to 2025, and its arrival on Netflix has completely changed the game. Suddenly, everyone's talking about it, and for good reason. The story centers around Cody Gunner, a rugged bull rider, and Allie Daniels, a determined barrel racer. They fall for each other, but of course it's not that simple. Both have painful pasts and heavy secrets that threaten to pull them apart. Even with the weight of their troubles, the show manages to be heartfelt and moving, with moments that hit just the right balance between tragedy and hope. There's something deeply satisfying about watching two broken people slowly find love again, especially against the backdrop of dusty arenas, small-town rodeos, and wide-open fields. 1,000 Tomorrows captures that same small-town magic that makes Virgin River so appealing, where everyone knows everyone, where gossip spreads faster than wildfire, and where love feels both complicated and pure. The main difference, though, is that 1,000 Tomorrows leans more into its faith-based roots. Since it's adapted from a Christian romance novel by Karen Kingsbury, faith plays a bigger role in the story. And even if that's not your usual cup of tea, the overall tone, emotional depth, and sincerity of the show feel familiar enough to Virgin River fans that it's hard not to fall for it. It's got that same cozy warmth, that same heartfelt sincerity, just with a slightly more spiritual touch. And honestly, this show could very well become Netflix's next Virgin River-level success story. While Virgin River remains the crown jewel of the streaming service's small-town romance lineup, 1,000 Tomorrows feels like it's walking right in its footsteps. Both are based on popular book series. Both feature rugged yet emotionally complex characters, and both know how to make you tear up at least twice an episode. Karen Kingsbury's Cody Gunner series currently includes 2 novels, 1,000 Tomorrows and its follow-up, Just Beyond the Clouds. That means the show has at least 1 more season's worth of story ready to go. But even beyond that, it has potential to expand, because shows set in close-knit rural communities often find clever ways to introduce new faces, fresh conflicts, and evolving romances. That's exactly how Virgin River has kept fans hooked year after year, and 1,000 Tomorrows could easily pull off the same trick if Netflix decides to keep it going. The funny thing is, when 1,000 Tomorrows first aired, it didn't really break through. But with Netflix's massive audience, it's finally getting the recognition it deserves. Viewers who love emotional depth, redemption arcs, and sweeping Western-style romance are finally discovering it, and many are already calling it the perfect show to binge while waiting for Virgin River's next season. Meanwhile, Virgin River's production timeline continues to move steadily forward. Ever since its debut in 2019, the show's been incredibly consistent, usually dropping 1 new season each year. Season 5 premiered in September 2023, while Season 6 started filming in early 2024 and wrapped by June before hitting Netflix that December. Season 7 began production in March, and if things go as planned, it should arrive by the end of this year or early next year. So the schedule's right on track, just with a small delay, which isn't exactly shocking for a show that juggles a huge cast and multiple storylines. And speaking of that cast, everyone's expected to return for Season 7, including 2 fresh faces introduced in Season 6. Plus, there's something extra exciting brewing behind the scenes, a Virgin River prequel focusing on Mel's parents, Everett and Sarah. The younger versions, played by Callum Kerr and Jessica Roth, will appear again in Season 7, meaning the show is about to dive even deeper into the family's history. The multi-generational storytelling feels like a smart move. It's expanding the universe without losing what makes Virgin River special in the first place. Now, as for what's coming in Season 7, buckle up, because it sounds like things are about to get messy, in the best possible way. The Season 6 finale left Mel and Jack in a tricky spot. Newly married and still settling into their life together, they're suddenly asked to adopt Marley's baby, a request filled with emotional weight and uncertainty. Marley's terrified that her current situation isn't stable, and Mel and Jack are torn between their hearts and their responsibilities. On top of that, there's tension brewing elsewhere in town. Bree, Brady, and Mike are tangled in a love triangle that's becoming harder to untangle, and the clinic where Mel works isn't exactly free of drama either. Filming for Season 7 is expected to wrap up by the end of June, which means fans probably won't have to wait too long before Netflix drops a new batch of episodes. The delay doesn't seem like a sign of trouble. If anything, it's just business as usual for a show that's always taken its time to deliver something heartfelt and well-crafted. Now, let's talk about Brady, because honestly, he's the most complicated and fascinating character in Virgin River. Season 6 really put him through the ringer. At first, it seemed like he'd finally found some peace with Lark, played by Elise Gatien. Their relationship gave him a shot at redemption, even a chance to be a father figure to Lark's daughter Hazel. But of course, in true Virgin River fashion, it all fell apart spectacularly. Brady ended up broke, betrayed, and blindsided. The reveal hit hard. It was dramatic, especially for a show that usually prefers emotional heartbreak to shock twists. But it worked perfectly to highlight the tragedy of Brady's character. No matter how far he runs, his past mistakes and bad choices always seem to catch up to him. And yet, despite it all, fans still root for him. There's something magnetic about the way he carries his pain, and a lot of that has to do with his connection to Bree, played by Zibby Allen. Their chemistry is undeniable, but it's messy and volatile. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.